I'm going to request that we move this another 2 weeks to give all of us time to look at all this information. This is a lot of stuff you've given us today. And this really needs to be looked at good. So I'm asking for a 2-week breather. I'm not against data centers. I don't want you to think that, but I
Sure.
just think this is something that needs to be looked at very, very carefully.
Any other questions on what John?
And the statute would require no more than 21 from the.
Correct, yeah. Look, I don't think, we have to remember as a community, this is a process. As I've stated on numerous occasions, the text amendment somebody used the words earlier, guardrails for any and all of this specific use coming into Mason County into perpetuity. I know our friends probably are not very happy with some of these changes, but I like and am attracted to differentiating out sensitive use areas. And if you can't reasonably move into an area 750 feet out without offending your neighbor, we would have issues. Outside of that, the majority of this is exactly what the JPC passed.
Judge, got a question.
Sure.
Let's say next week we meet and discuss this. Is it possible that after a week of studying, it's not like we haven't been keeping up with this process over the last several months. Is it possible that we could discuss this and maybe suggest maybe a different change next week?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'd ask, the only thing I'd ask is that you, if you have questions or suggest changes, tell me so that we can adopt a draft to be considered and voted on of your change. First reading does not require a vote, and wouldn't ask you to vote on something you haven't read, obviously.
Correct.
So you would have a vote to adopt it, but if Commissioner McKay had a change requested, I'll get the language ready, and then you can have a vote of the whole fiscal court to determine whether you wanted to incorporate that or not incorporate, and that way we'd have some record of what you've adopted and what the final language is. I don't want to have a bunch of changes to be.
I understand.
Well, it leaves me too much discretion. I want to be directed what to do when you take your vote, not guessing what you wanted to do.
Thank you for that input. Thank you.
And, it's an ongoing discussion. I think, if an issue arises even tomorrow, go ahead, I think, and bring it up and we'll start talking about it.
The other thing I'd say, Judge, to the commissioners and to you, if you want to vote to increase the setbacks to 1,000 feet or reduce them to 250, don't come to me, because that's a policy matter.
Yeah.
You just make that motion in the court. But if it's something that we need to craft language or correct language, that's all in my role. If it changes the tenor of the thing or some policy, that's up to y'all, not me. But I'll be your draftsman. If you have an idea, I'll come up with a draft of what you want to do.
Well, I'm asking for 2 weeks to look at all of this and reevaluate it. That's all. And
Well, Commissioner, I don't think there's,
Could you,
unless I'm
nobody
wrong.
agrees that we need a little more time.
well, I would like, Judge, would you explain the process moving forward after a second reading is held, whenever that is?
Sure. So after following up Tuesday's second reading, at some point following that, this ordinance would be codified within Mason County. Economic interest, looking in our area would either state, hey, I think we can make that work, or they would go on and bolster another community's opportunities and abilities for people and young people to stay there. At that point, they would submit their map amendment back to the JPC for review. The JPC would have 60 days, to approve, deny, go forward. So, does that answer your question? Mm-hmm. Sure.
So what would it matter if you delayed it another week?
Because we've been working on this for 2 years.
Give me time to look at all of this, that's all I'm asking for.
Sure.
I mean, this is a lot of information,
Sure.
a lot of requests, and I'm not against data centers, I'm not saying that at all. I think data centers are a good thing
Okay.
in the right place, but I think we need time to look at all these regulations that the
Yep.
lawyers have talked about today and that the joint planning has talked about, and just to look at it, and really look at it deep.
Sure. I
That's all
disagree.
I'm asking.
I know, I disagree.
Okay, well, that's
Okay.
a part of being in America, to be able to
I
disagree.
know.
That's the good thing about our country.
So do we need a motion to approve our first reading?
I know, I think just let the record reflect, we've had a reading by summary and an explanation of the attachment A, which was the exhibits of 2601. And we will work on, I emailed this to George, I'll make sure he puts it up today. We'll get with Sherry and see, she'll start producing some of these for this afternoon. And I guess I could, if somebody wants to make a sign-up list of emails.
Right here, it's on the
If
podium.
anybody wants to put emails, I'll email them out when I get back to work.
Any additional questions? Commissioners, do you all have any thoughts on commissioners' frames? Thoughts on postponing next Tuesday?
I'm okay with a week. I'm okay with a week.
Okay.
It gives me enough time to look at this.
Good.
I think we've kicked this down the can. Most of the comments I've heard is it's just time to deal with it.
Yep.
Let's just throw it on the wall and see what sticks.
Commissioners, it brings us up to communications. Any of the three of you have any communications from the court? First, I would like to thank my good friend Hank Gaddy, traveling up, outstanding presentation. Mr. Nichols and Ammerman, thank you very much for your presentation. I think the commissioners join me in our appreciation for the Joint Planning Commission, their efforts, and last but not least, I greatly appreciate County Attorney John Estel for his efforts moving forward. Commissioners, I want to remind you, Saturday, February 28th, the benefit for Melissa and Brandon Hamilton, lost everything in a fire, will be out in Germantown as an auction benefit, trying to raise money in their support. Also, next Wednesday, the 25th, the Dover Volunteer Fire Spaghetti Dinner. And I'd also highlight our animal shelter for the great job they did last night in tracking down my good friend Debbie Beelan's dog, Max, in New Jersey Ridge. And I think they have rescued Max back to the good folks of Beelan's. So, without any further ado, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second. Any additional discussion? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner O'Hearn?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil?
Yes, ma'am.